Hey guys, this is Chris, and today we're going to be doing a comparison between these two Line 6 multi-effects pedals. We have the HD500X and the brand new Firehawk effects. Now, I just recently got the Firehawk effects. I have spent some time with it, enough to get a lay of the land. I have an amplifier. Now, basically the Firehawk effects is taking the Amplify series and then giving it some bells and whistles and also adding the HD amp modeling. That's the biggest thing, HD amp modeling. A couple of HD effects. They pulled some effects from the HD500X, put them into the Firehawk effects. And they also, which I was very excited about, they also added the Variax connection and control into the Firehawk effects. Now, if you don't have a Variax, I actually have two Variaxes here. If you don't have a James Tyler Variax or the new Variax Standard, you'll be able to connect any Variax to it, but you will only be able to control a Variax or a James Tyler Variax or a Variax Standard. You can only control that with the Firehawk effects, I believe. Any of the older Variaxes, you won't be able to control it, and the older Variaxes don't have the ability to do different tunings. Anyways, so getting into this, we're going to be doing this comparison because a lot of people wonder which pedal is right for me. They're only a $50 difference. The Firehawk effects is about $450. The 500X is about $500. The big thing though is that the 500X has been out for longer and you can find used ones cheaper than the Firehawk effects. So that's something to think about. So I'm not going to go in and tell you all the different amp models or the different effects. If you want a complete list of both of that, you can get it on Line 6's website. They'll be able to tell you all the different effects and different amps. And I'm also not going to give you any audio samples of each one in this video because honestly, theoretically, they should sound the same. Besides a couple amp models or different effects, everything's going to sound the same because it uses that HD amp technology. So what I wanted to do is kind of tell you how they're both different. The first thing is that both pedals can be edited with some other device. The HD500X can only be additionally edited through a computer. So if you don't want to go in and just use that little tiny screen and the little knobs, that can get annoying, honestly, especially because it's a floor unit. And so you have to bend over or put it up on, a desk or something to edit it. But once it's on a desk, you can't really do wah or volume swells or anything like that. So if you're going to have either one of these, I really suggest using some other device to edit your tones. Recently, I just started heavily using the HD500X software, and I have really loved. I fell in love with the whole the pedal all over again. It's really great. Now with the Firehawk effects, you can only edit it using an iOS or an Android device. You can't edit any of your tones just with the pedal. So that's a little bit of a downside with the Firehawk effects. With the 500X, you can edit everything. You don't even need a computer. So those are two differences there. They both have Variax connections, which is amazing because they need power to use that technology. You can use the technology with just a regular guitar cable, but then you'd have to figure out the power situation. You would be using the battery for the newer Variaxes, and the older Variaxes you would have to either put double A's or their battery systems. So they both share the Variax inputs, which is great. They differ in this one big way. They differ because the Firehawk effects doesn't have an L6 link. Now, probably 80% of the people that use these kind of effects or these units, that probably won't matter to them. It matters to me because I have the Line 6 L3T's powered PA speaker. And so what I can do, although I don't do it that often, is that I can use that L6 link to control different parameters in this PA speaker. So that's a big thing. And if you have a DT series amplifier, that's probably going to be way bigger because they actually speak a little bit more in my mind. The 500X talks to the DT amp a lot more than really the 500X talks with the PA speaker. So if you have a DT amp, I really suggest get the 500X. I mean, the Firehawk FX is nice, but you already have the other link to the Dream Rig, they call it. So if you are a Dream Rig person, I would say go with the 500X, because the Firehawk FX, like I said, does not have that L6 link. Now, 80% of the people, and even myself, I just plug into the one connection and I leave it in PA speaker mode because I think that sounds the best. But honestly, you know, I could tweak with it more and get some different sounds. Continuing on, okay, so a big way that they're different is I really like the Firehawk FX's foot switches because they have those different color lights around them. You can actually see each color, and they represent different kinds of effects that are assigned to them. And they're a little bit darker whenever they're not on, and then they're brighter when they're on. So that's really cool. I like that about the Firehawk FX. They're just red on the 500X. If you're like me, you kind of know where you put different effects anyways. So like I always leave reverb on FS4, typically just delays in the middle somewhere, and then compressors and overdrives towards the front. So that's not a huge problem, but you know, that's just how they're different. A big thing with the mobile device, not only can you control your Firehawk effects with your mobile device, you can edit all your parameters, but you can, motorcycle went by. Anyways, you can also control, well, you can control it, but you can also stream music from your iTunes library or other libraries. You can stream that music through your Firehawk effects and go into a PA speaker or whatever it is. That's a lot of fun because, like me, I use my iPad a lot, and I use it for music creation. So maybe I'm in one kind of app, and it has a really cool sound. Well, I can stream that through my Firehawk effects, and it's all done through Bluetooth. So that's pretty cool. They both can be used as an audio interface. The Firehawk effects can actually be used as an audio interface into your iPad. So that's really, really cool. You can check out my one video I did of the Firehawk effects already where I did that. It's a lot of fun. Now, they both can be used as an interface into a regular computer. So the 500X does that as well. Recent video I did, I was jamming along with my 500X and everything. And in that video, I was actually playing GarageBand, and I was using the 500X as the interface. So they can both be used as interfaces. What else? How else are they different? Some big reasons why they're different is the HD500X can be used, it's called dual signal paths. So you can have two different paths going, and you can have two different amps at the same exact time. Now, you can place effects anywhere you want with the HD500X. You can place effects kind of in other places with the Firehawk effects, but you can't put them anywhere you want. I believe you can only have 2 delays with the Firehawk effects, and you can only have 1 reverb. You can have, you know, tons of reverbs with the 500X. And that's a big way that they're different. If you want to get in and you want to make these crazy tones, you want to put things wherever you want, you just want tons of options, that's going to be the 500X. If you just want a good guitar tone and you don't really want to tweak it that much, I'd say go for the Firehawk FX. And that's the big difference. In my mind, there's 2 really different kinds of people when it comes to these kind of things. There's the person that I just want to play, I want one box, and I just want to plug in and get some good sounds. I don't want to tweak it really that much. I just want to get out there and play. If that's you, go for the Firehawk FX, because not only can you just get good tones quicker, but you know, you can pull off, you know, you can play music through it, and it'll find, you know, if you want to play AC/DC, it'll pull off guitar tones from the cloud, and they'll actually sound close to it, and then you can tweak a little bit. And that's a really cool feature, especially for like someone that's not really familiar with different amp models, with different effects. That is a really big benefit. You know, if you're a newer guitar player or just a little bit more inexperienced, the Firehawk effects, I really suggest go with that. You know, just having a mobile device and having that ability to just get in there, start playing really quick, that's pretty huge. but there's going to be some limitations with it, and that's where the 500X shines. Another big thing is that as of right now, I know the Firehawk FX doesn't have this. The 500X, about a month ago, the 2.62 firmware update was released, which enabled you to buy amp model packs. And for $100 more, I bought all these new amp models, and they all sound really, really good. And those HD amp models aren't available for the Firehawk FX, at least not at this point in time. But the Firehawk FX just came out. I'm sure those amp bundles will be available. There's so many things that the Firehawk FX will, it'll grow with time. The 500 and the 500X have been around for a while. So, big things there, dual signal paths. You can put effects anywhere you want for the 500X. Those are really big things. But are you going to be that kind of person? Remember, I was talking about two different kinds of people. So there's the one person that wants to get in there. They just want to plug in, get some good tones, and start playing. And there's a lot of people like that, to be honest. So I really do think the Firehawk FX is going to be the one that a lot of people pick. But if you're like me, if you have a home studio or something, they're both really good for recording, but the 500X gives you so many different options. You can have that dual signal path. The 500X also has an XLR input. So you can use the 500X to also be your vocal interface with your computer. You can't do that with the Firehawk FX. There's a couple different inputs in the back for the 500X. Like I said, go on the website. The website actually has a cool little comparison chart, and we'll go over that real quick. But, they're both really good options. But let's talk about this real quick. So the main difference that you're going to have is that you get the iOS and the Android editing that you get with the Firehawk FX. You get the Bluetooth streaming. That's huge. You get the lighting up, different color foot switches. Really, that's all you really need in a lot of instances. But if you want a lot of options and you want a lot of detail, I would say go with the 500X. I almost forgot. The 500X has a looper in it. The Firehawk FX doesn't. So that's a big area that a lot of people don't like about the Firehawk FX, and I see why. A looper is something very essential for a guitarist. You don't always have a friend around to jam with, and the looper is just such a really great thing to help you write songs, figure out harmony parts, and that's not in the Firehawk FX. Maybe they could do that with an update. They could put that in there somehow, but it's just not even really set up for it. So that's different. How else are they different? Looper, let me see. I think that also is just a big thing about the XLR input because, you can use these as an interface, but really you can only use the Firehawk FX as an interface for just guitar. Now with that XLR input, you can use a lot more. Let's look to the website again. You can go on Line 6's website. You can see this yourself. Basically, the person that's more of like a hardcore musician trying to get in depth with things, that's going to be the 500X. It's going to appeal to you more. If you're someone that is maybe newer or less experienced with all these things, I would say go with the Firehawk FX. Some of the ways they make it sound like it's someone talking. So if you like editing your tones with a PC or a Mac, go with the 500X. If you like just having that mobile device, go with that. If you like getting really complicated and complex sounds, putting things anywhere you want, go with the 500X. If you just have like a really streamlined rig, like guitar, this, that, the other thing, and let's go. Go with the the Firehawk FX. That's another thing. Like if you like just kind of creating your own tones without anybody's help, you can do that with both of them, but it's a lot more fun with the 500X because you have so many of those options. With the Firehawk FX, though, this is really cool. You can actually go and search a whole bunch of people's information, and you can pull those tones right from your mobile device, right into the pedal. So that's really huge. You can do the same thing with the 500X. It's just a little bit more of a process. They have a whole website called Custom Tone, and so you can search favorite guitar player or anything like that. And they basically just took that kind of system and put it into a mobile device. And I think that's really, really cool. Let's see here. I believe the 500X also has an auxiliary input, whereas the Firehawk FX doesn't. That's a little bit of a difference. You know, there's probably a few more differences, but I can't really think of them all right now. My initial impressions, I really like both pedals. You know, I'm a person that kind of fits into both those categories. You know, I like to, tinker around, and I like to make different weird effects. I like to have 8 reverbs if I want, just to see what it sounds like. But then there's times where I just want to plug in and get a good sound. And so there's the Firehawk. Really, I think it comes down to your own taste. Do you want all the different capabilities? Today maybe I want to try 5 delays just to see what it sounds like. Do I want a Marshall and a Fender sound at the same exact time? If you want all those crazy options, go with the 500X. And if you just want good tones, really quick and easy, you want the option to maybe share, tweet your tones or anything like that, go with the 500X. Really, they're both amazing pedals, and I don't think a lot of people really give each of these kind of things a chance. A lot of people are scared of multi-effects, and they're just like, I don't want to bother with that kind of stuff. It's too difficult. I don't like it. If that's you, if you've not really tried multi-effects, if you just you don't trust them, you just I would say try the Firehawk FX because you might have a lot of fun with it. So I know I've probably missed a few things about how they're different, and if I have, leave some comments so they can help out the community. You can see how they're different. Real quick, these things can probably be fixed with an update to the Firehawk FX. But one thing that is kind of annoying with the Firehawk FX is that if you switch between the presets, there is like a very short lag. Like if you switch from one to the other, there's like a little hiccup. I believe the 500X, or I don't know about the X, but at least the Pod 500, it had that issue a little bit, and it was fixed through firmware. So maybe that can be fixed with the Firehawk FX. Another thing that is kind of weird, this is the same way with the Amplify, but with the Firehawk FX, if you do your tap tempos, you can actually hear like the delay modulate because it's changing, and it doesn't do that with the 500X. So if you like that kind of effect, that's kind of cool. Anyways, I've just been rambling, but hopefully this helps you guys. I'd say if you want, every option available, go with the 500X. If you can also spare not having the iOS capability, or your mobile device. If there was a 500X that had everything that it has, but you can control it with an iPad, that would be like the best of both worlds. And the Firehawk FX comes close. But just some of those things kind of doesn't make it the same. Lack of a looper. The XLR input on the 500X is amazing. Dual signal pads, like I said, you can have in this ear, you can have your Marshall. In this ear, you can have your Fender or any combination of those. There's just so many options. It's a lot of fun. So, guys, like I said, I'm just rambling. I'm having fun, and I really do like both these pedals. And if you guys have questions about them, please leave me some comments. I don't know if I'm going to keep both of them. I'm definitely going to keep the 500X. I don't know if I'll keep the Firehawk FX because, to be quite honest, after I got that amp bundle for the 500X, I've been having so much fun with that, especially with connecting it up to my laptop. Check out my last couple videos, kind of show you how I had that all connected. So, like I said, guys, I'm just kind of rambling, but really cool pedals. Check them both out, and tell me what you think. All right. Have a good night, guys.